Hello everyone, welcome to Nareen Life with MS. This is Nareen and it's time for what MS taught me. And well, MS has taught me a lot, but I think the biggest thing that I have really, one of the biggest things, every week I pretty much say, oh, here's a big thing that MS has taught me. So it's always something that, it's never the biggest thing. But I want to say one big thing that MS has definitely taught me is to not take anything for granted, pretty much. Right? I have mentioned this before, but one of the things I do want to mention, especially now, is the fact that I am slowly starting to see some progress in in certain things that I'm doing, right? Like walking, um, like being able to exercise to a certain extent, to even have a little more, um, to have a little more, um, to have a little more endurance in certain things. But of course, everything is just very, very small, in comparison to what was there before. And because this progress is so small, I did want to highlight it, but at the same time, because it is a much longer process, it is something that could take months, could take years to really see some visible or tangible impacts. I won't take what is present or available to me right now as for granted, because you know I definitely have had lots of cycles of becoming really, really good, and then suddenly deciding, okay, fine, now I'm over here, I'm good, I'm set, I don't have to do this anymore, and then everything just falls, right? Just goes downhill. And the reason for that was because I was pretty much exercising myself to failure almost on a daily basis. And one of the things I realized would happen as a result of exercising every day to failure was that I never got around to liking exercises. I never got around to, appreciating what exercises did to me or did for me, really. And as a result of that, when I had the chance to say, okay, bye to all of my exercises, I left it almost for good. And that ended up being the thing that pretty much got me back to scratch each and every time. And now that I am doing yoga, and now that I am a little more, that I'm a little more, focused on even doing the easy stuff as best as possible. And now that I am doing all of the easy things, right, I'm doing the same exercises day after day, and understanding that they are becoming a little easier every day, I'm realizing that my form is still not perfect. There are still improvements that I can do, and as a result, I can still grow in whatever I am doing. Right? It is a slow process. It is a long process. And for sure, um, the part where um, I need to lose an X amount of weight, need to be able to do um, a few things that I have in my bucket list, all of those things, because they are there. The realization's coming to me that it's not going to be a quick um, it's definitely not going to be a quick process. It's going to be very long, it's going to be very arduous, and a lot of times I will feel like maybe I should move to the next level, but at the same time, how do I know that I'm done with this level before I move on to the rest next, right? And one thing that I definitely have to share, and this is going to sound so this is going to sound so nerdy coming from me, so geeky, but when I used to play Pokemon when I was younger, I was terrible. And terrible in the sense of not only being, well, a little bad at playing it, even though it's literally probably the easiest game you can play. But the reason I say I was terrible at it was just the fact that I would over prepare myself, I would over level. So by the time I got to, the final bosses, right, the Elite Four, the champion, my team was 10 to 15 levels higher than what those trainers had. So at the end of the day, any one of my Pokemon, even the weakest one, right, which most likely was a Pikachu, even the weakest one would probably be able to single-handedly defeat all 5 trainers in one go. But obviously, me being me, I had to have all 6 of them. I had to have all 6 being that strong, being so far high up in levels comparatively to the trainers, that I had to, that winning was the only option for me. Now that, when I go back to those games, I'm usually more of the under level person. I usually am, much more, what's the right word? I'm a little more impatient with, what's coming next in the games. So, I've definitely noticed that change. But I also realized that, with my health, with my exercises, I was doing what I am doing right now with Pokemon, where I am jumping the gun a little too early. I'm going over to the next level a little too early, even though I haven't perfected my current level. And so now, what I used to do in Pokemon all those years ago, I have to do them with my health right now. So just keep trying and improving myself to the point where I can finally say that, I am able to qualify to the next level. And yes, it is going to be a very long process. It's going to take so much time. But at the end of it all, it is something that I have to live with. And part of understanding how my body is reacting on a daily basis is to also understand if today was a good day with the same exercises I did yesterday, or is it going to be a day where I'm going to struggle? So with that said, what are your thoughts about everything that I had to say? And please do share what what your thoughts are on taking certain things, especially your health, for granted, so that we can get a conversation started. But of course, with all of that said, this is Naren Saifat MS. I am Naren, and of course, considering it's the end of the video, here is me wishing you a good night, sweet dreams, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.